Dice. Rolls. Dragons. Trolls.
Adventurous. Yopsters. Yopsters.
Is that yes?
You could say that.
All right. Well, on that topic, then, welcome back.
Wait, what?
Welcome to Adventurous. And welcome back. Technically. Are we ready to go? The daughter says.
Yopsters.
A new catchphrase for some reason. All right. Are you ready to jump into another recap and another continuation? Because we left off last week.
On
another.
It wasn't a cliffhanger.
But it was
It was trying to think of another word. I mean, I guess the entire town is built on cliffs, so I suppose it would be a cliffhanger.
There you go. It's more accurate than ever before. As usual, hopefully everybody's enjoying the podcast. And if you like it, send us your love, because we appreciate it. Yep.
Wow. That's my only word.
Wow.
Just
you took
wow.
that long to say wow. All right. Are you ready to jump back in?
Yes.
All right. Last week on the
Adventurous.
last week in the campaign, Kea and Flibbit finally returned to Wander Wharf alongside Cabot, Frogrick, and the Mojingo. This very, very silly blue Sasquatch Yeti thing that had dandruff that turned you invisible. And he spoke very brutish and said things like, "No see." And
we go no see.
Yeah, we go no see. The town was overrun by the Bloodhounds, and your friends Maud, Beryl, and potentially townsfolk as well as Harwick were captured here by the Bloodhounds as they were terrorizing the town and stealing past world tech as they have been wont to do lately.
The entire town might be turned into a giant Goods Enough store if they're allowed to go through.
Perhaps. And so you guys worked with Cabot, snuck into the hills, earned the trust of the Mojingo, and you helped use its invisibility to sneak through town. You guys made your way through past some buildings. You caught a little sneak peek into the room where Zarr Bloodhoof was staying, and you overheard him talking with another bloodhound about some sort of stash they were looking for, but they were having struggles finding it. You also saw that Zarr had Maud's Rocky Talkie, and so it kind of confirmed your suspicions that she was captured and was here. And that person, that shape you saw from a distance, was probably Maud. You kept sneaking along using that invisibility. You almost got caught once, but mostly you did really good. You snuck over to the town hall, and you eventually found your way to a balcony up above, leaving the Mojingo and Cabot behind. You and Flibbit snuck in, and you overheard some commotion. The entirety of the town was in this town hall being captured by the Bloodhounds. They were guarding against them, and they were being questioned by various members of the group. And you overheard them talking to the mayor of this town, Harwick Thistle, an old acquaintance, friend, whatever, of Maud and Beryl, an old teammate, and they were grilling him over the location of a supposed stash of past world tech that he had. You decided to sneak down the stairs and blend in with the crowd, which you did amazingly because you rolled...
I believe it was a 7.
It was a nat 1.
It was it was a nat 1, but I have
the one time where the plus 6 didn't help you. Because you snuck into the crowd, you started jeering and yelling along with them, and eventually Zarr Bloodhoof himself busted in through the door, walked over to Harwick,
Stop.
and threatened the town. Basically said, "Harwick, you gotta give up your stuff, or else I'm gonna ruin this town." And Harwick, very, very defiant to the end, looked up at him and finally was defeated and said, Fine, you can have the stash. It's located in the well Third brick from the right, which the daughter keeps telling me doesn't make sense on a round well, but you know what? They'll just have to figure it out. And Zarr chuckled to himself. He started to walk away, and then something caught the corner of his eye. Maybe it was a twitch of the ears. Maybe it was a twitch of the tail. Maybe he can smell you. I don't know.
I mean, I guess he's a minotaur, so we both have, like, animal noses.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, maybe.
I don't know. But he turned his head. He saw you. You raised your hand, and you said, "Did you miss me?" Or something like that.
I said, remember me.
Remember me? And then he closed the doors behind him and clicked on one of his buttons, which activated a Scryclops. And
what motions you did.
excitement. And it burst in through the town hall and attacked. You and Maud and Beryl and Harwick decided that they were going to have to defend against this Scryclops. There were 2 bloodhounds in here too, and you guys got into a battle. You expertly defeated this Scryclops with the townsfolk and Beryl and Maud holding off the bloodhounds that you had shocked to the ground.
Mm-hmm. I shot an arrow at them, and it went pew, 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 with lightning.
Mm-hmm.
It hit them, and they went, and did they pass out? I think they passed out.
Yeah, they passed out.
Yeah.
They both rolled nat 1s on their dexterity saving throws. So they passed out. And anyway, you finally defeated this Scryclops. You guys got a moment of clarity, and Maud rushed over. She gave you a pat on the shoulder, and she said, "Well, kid, looks like we got a lot of catching up to do." But Harwick turned to you both, and he said, "Not until we save my town." And that is where we are now. You're in a crowded room. Everybody's hushed excitement. There's the Scryclops on the ground there. And Maud looks to Harwick, and she's like, "You're right. We got to get this handled first."
Agreed. I have one question for you, Harwick.
Yeah, go ahead, kid.
Is it a round well or a square well?
The well in town?
Yeah.
It's more of an oblong shape.
So how does your directions make any sense? Or
Well-
were you trying to foil them?
Let's just say we're on a ticking clock, and I'll tell you more about it as we go. And he starts walking towards the front door.
As Kea, like, looks at this little gnome walking away in a suit of all things.
Yeah, very fancy gnome with a suit, and he has curly mustache, younger than like Cabot or anything, but about Maud and Beryl's age. And he walks over with a purpose towards the big double doors, and he stops there, and he motions for you and Beryl and Maud to come over to him.
I just raise my eyebrows, and as I walk after him, I turn to Maud and say, "He is in a suit. Is that like, is there something secret here, or is he just going to try to fight a 10-foot tall minotaur in a business suit?"
Honestly, with Harwick, anything's possible.
Okay.
And Beryl just chuckles next to you. And Maud and Beryl go join over. Harwick kind of motions you guys to the side, and then he addresses the whole town hall. And he goes, "People of Wander Wharf, I need everybody to calm down." And everybody hushes. And he goes, "We've planned for this. We've prepped for this. You all know what to do." And everybody nods, and like motions start getting to work. They start like pulling boards up, and you pulling out interesting like little past world tech gear that was hidden away. You start going, they start just like getting gear on. They're pulling armor out of the walls and stuff like this of this town hall. And
Kea nods in satisfaction.
yeah, and Harwick gives a little nod back, and then he goes, "All right, well, you guys ready to help me save my town?"
I don't think we're ready until we're ready.
Roger that. I'm Harwick, by the way.
Kea, nice to meet you.
Shakes your hand firmly, and Maud goes, "Yeah, Harwick, we got a lot of catching up to do with you, too." And he looks up at her, and he goes, "You're dang right we do. All right. You guys ready? I got a plan."
What I said before.
All right. So, you two, and he points at Beryl and Maud. He's like, "You got a job. You got to get to your ship." And Beryl goes, "Oh, yeah. I was hoping you were going to say that."
We get to ride on it again?
And,
Yes.
well, and Harwick says, "First, it's chained to the dock. You two got to get it untangled." And Cabot and the Mojingle and Frogrick, and they come over, and he goes, "Well, this is going to be quite fascinating. I think we can help with that." And he looks up at the Mojingle, and the Mojingle goes, "No see," and Cabot goes, "No see," and so it seems as though Barrel Mod, Cabot, and the Mojingle crew are going to go get to the ship.
Okay.
And then he looks at the rest of the town. He goes, "Now I'm going to stay with my townsfolk, and we are going to take back. We're going to get out there, and we're going to fight these bloodhounds. However, I have a special job for you. Maud told me a little bit about you, said you're one heck of a rummager."
Yeah. I mean, I've had experience.
Perfect. You're also small like a gnome. No offense. But we're about, you're only a little bit bigger than me. This is going to come to your advantage.
Okay.
Now, and he looks around a little bit, I may have not exactly told Zarr the full truth
That's what I thought.
when I gave up the stash.
That's what I thought.
However, he might find the real thing if we don't act quick.
Okay.
Inside the well, there is an area where I have set up a trap, but it's got to be sprung, and it's got to be sprung by someone who can fit in the secret passage.
Okay.
That's you. And Flibbit comes up, and he's like, "That's me, too. I'm squishy."
She is very squishy.
All right. You're going to need to sneak down to the house next to the well. Go inside. It's abandoned. There is a fireplace. There's a torch next to it. You pull that. You sneak in through the hatch, and you're going to go down a ladder, a tunnel, into a cavern.
Okay.
Down there's a valve you're going to turn, but you're going to want to keep an eye on it because there will be a window, and you'll be able to see what's happening in Zarr's room. It'll make sense once you get down there, but you're going to need to trigger the trap when the time is right.
Okay.
In the meantime, we're going to take back that town. Everyone, he holds up, he pulls out a wrench at one point, and he holds it up, and he goes, "Are you ready, townsfolk?" And they all go, "Woo! Howick!" And then he pulls you aside while there's commotion. He said, "And I should warn you about something.
What?
About 2 weeks ago, we had a wild magic storm nearby, and something got into the trap door. I've admittedly not dealt with it yet. You might have something down there you have to deal with first."
You mean something got in, like you saw it go in, or have you heard noises?
I've heard noises and chittering and growling from down there, but we just put a guard there, and we haven't dealt with it yet.
So is the guard gone? That's my question.
Probably, because they rounded us all up and put us into this room.
Do you know if there's any bloodhounds in said house?
I have no idea at all. You're going to have to go figure it out.
Great.
Yep. All right. You ready? And he holds up his
Yes.
wrench to fist bump you. Like he's holding the wrench sideways, and then he gives you a fist bump.
I grab my bow in my hand and then also give him a fist bump.
And he goes, "All right. On the count of 3, everybody." And in the meantime, the Mojingle starts shaking his dandruff onto Maud and Beryl, and Beryl's like, "This is a weird thing.
Yeah, I honestly can't explain it neither.
I might have to try to bottle some and make something out of it. All right, are you ready?"
Yes.
And Harwick goes, 3, 2, 1, Wonder Wharf! And they all cheer. And they burst the doors open, and the townsfolk, all 200 of them, rush out.
Oh, there's only 200 people here?
Yeah, it was a couple hundred or something.
Yeah.
And they rush out and fill the streets. And there's bloodhounds like, "Oh no!" And they're all yelling. And then a clash happens. And you see Maud and Beryl go sneak down to the docks across the main pier there, where there are a bunch of bloodhounds stationed. And they turn invisible. And all that commotion that the townsfolk are causing, they're going that way. Battles are happening this way. Then you look down the street and you see the well at the end of town, on the north end of town.
Mm-hmm. Are Zarr and Tiefling Lady there?
No one's in sight.
Kea doesn't trust that, but is going to go and sprint. Well, I guess there's large commotion. She's going to try to be quieter. She's not going to try to be stealthy because there's a giant commotion happening on behind her, but as she gets closer to the well and farther away, she's going to try and get quieter.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll a perception check for me as you start making your way that direction.
Perception?
Yeah.
13.
13. Interesting. You start kind of fast walking down the street. At one point, a bloodhound bursts from one of the doors, but you're able to sneak down and hide behind a barrel real quick. And he runs by and joins the commotion, and you start walking down.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do I pass the main street that I had to sneak behind?
No, you came in from the south side. That
Oh.
was on. This is the north side now.
Well, I mean, in theory, the main street would still go. Does it not go anymore?
Well, I guess you're on the main street. By bursting out of the front doors of the townhouse, you're on the main street.
Would there be any chance that I could pick back up my fox figurine if it's still there?
It would be backtracking, so you will have to deal with that later. You start sneaking your way down, and you see the well. The well is, in fact, quite oblong-shaped.
Oh.
But there was maybe a one colored stone that marked kind of the front of the well, and you see as you get closer that one of the stones, 3 from the right of that colored stone, is depressed in, and the well looks like it has light coming up from underneath it, like inside of it.
Okay.
However, there is a bloodhound that is standing outside of that house that Harwick mentioned. You see this old one. Yeah, you see this old one level house that's all run down. There's some boards up in front of it. Like, the guy's guarding it, but I don't think they would know why. It was just the house nearby the well, and he's standing there waiting for Zarr or waiting for something. So there is someone standing there.
Kea is going to drop behind the nearest house and begin to sneak. But she would also like to kind of peek and see, maybe because in relation, the house she's behind and the house of the well, would she be able to get on the far corner of the house that she's behind so that she would maybe not be in direct sight of said bloodhound?
I think so, but can you go ahead and make me a stealth check as you approach?
25.
25. Easily you are able to blend in with the shadows. Maybe a little residual mojingle dandruff, making you a little translucent, and the guard does not see you at all.
Okay. Are there any non-boarded up windows?
In that house?
In that house.
No. Front door seems to be the way.
That's unfortunate. Front door seems to be the way. Huh? That guy is like, does he look a little confused?
I would say he's looking down the street worried, but then periodically keeps looking back towards the well, like maybe he had orders.
Okay.
He appears to be a rat folk type person.
Okay.
So a little bit taller than you, hunched forwards, got the rat ears and sharper teeth, but just kind of looking back and forth, skittish and nervous, his rat tail flickering.
How far away is he from me?
I'd say at this point he's probably about 25 feet from you, but you're hidden very well. He's looking away from you.
Looking away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Is he standing right in front of the door? I'm asking for a lot of details because I want to see what I want to do.
Okay, so we'll say this. There's this one-story house. What I'm imagining is there is like a porch that is essentially ground level, and there's like a step coming up onto the porch. Think of like a Wild West town pier, walkway type thing. There's an awning over the top of this guy with some pillars, and the door is behind him. He's leaning up against the railing on the outside of the house. His feet are on the street, and his back is leaned back up against the railing of the house. So he's not exactly in front of the front door. He's like in front of the front porch.
Okay.
And the well is past him. He's got a good sight on the well from here.
I think Kea's going to try and run to the side of the house stealthily, and is going to, and the guy's sitting on the outside railing. I think she's going to try and climb up the side railing of the porch.
Okay.
It's like a porch usually has like 4 corners, and
So, go ahead and roll for me another stealth check. I'll say this one's at advantage because the crowd is distracting this guy, and you already rolled really well as you sneak up. But you rush forward to the side of the house, and you start clambering over that rail. We're basically going to see if the wood creaks or not.
Okay.
But yeah, at advantage.
Natural 20 for 26.
Nice. I think at about that time, you go over, you see one of the boards is maybe a little bit rotten, and you adjust your footing at the last second, and it's smooth as silk, and you go by. And you look back to check on Flibbit, and he just gives you a very serious nod as he's just levitating. He's not having to... And he's getting better about not making noise when we're being stealthy.
He's not doing the stealth.
No.
Do.
And so I think at that point, you get over the porch rail, and you see that the door to this place is open. So you can just walk in.
Kia's going to slink in. You know how cats like slink? They have very distinctive slink. She's going to do that.
Okay, so you slink in to the house, and you feel very confident in your stealthy ways. You come into this house, and inside, covered in dust, cobwebs, just total abandoned. Fairly nice living room, though, like old leather couches and trunks, and maybe there's a bookshelf with some dusty old books that look like they're falling apart. But you do see a fireplace in the corner with a chair in front of it, a big cushy chair.
Okay. So, wait, is the chair facing away from me?
It's facing the fireplace.
And the fireplace is facing me, so it would be facing away from me.
Sure.
Okay. Kea is going to slink up behind the chair.
Okay.
And is going to peek around it.
There's nothing in the chair.
Okay.
So paranoid.
It's a dark, cobwebby house. Of course I'm paranoid. Kea is going to go up to the fireplace and look around for a torch.
So yeah,
on the
very
wall.
clearly you see a torch on the wall, and you can actually see that one of them is far less dusty than the other one. So you pull it as quietly as you can with the soft ka-punk, and the fireplace, the back wall behind the fireplace opens apart. And it is a very narrow little gap. Looks about Harwick-sized.
Okay. Kea is going to stick her head inside.
Okay.
Is there a closing mechanism?
Make a perception check. It is dark in here, but you have dark vision.
Natural 1 for 6.
Well, I think with that, we'll just say no. There is no closing mechanism. You peek inside. It seems dark. It's hard to see exactly, but you get a good idea. As far as what you were looking for, definitely not.
Kea, after Flibbit is through, she motions him through.
Are you going through?
Yeah, I'm going through.
Okay, so you step through the crack. You have to squeeze your tail in. You got to squeeze your fur in, and you go through this tunnel, and it's like a...
is Flibbit in now?
Kind of. Yeah, you guys, it's like a tunnel, though.
I want him to be fully in.
Okay, he's fully in.
Kea is going to... Are there any, bricks to grip? Because...
No. You're making this overly
Why can't I close
complicated.
the thing?
You can't, because you rolled a nat 1.
Well, that's unfortunate. I guess she sighs and keeps going.
Okay, there you go. And so you're squeezing through. It takes you 5-10 feet, and eventually you are able to break through this tunnel and get into a more wider chamber.
A wider chamber?
Mm-hmm.
Kea, being paranoid because it's a dark chamber, cavey thing, is going to pull out her bow.
Okay.
Knock an arrow. Not shoot it anywhere, but just knock an arrow and be ready.
Okay. You pull it out, and finally at the last second, Flibbit goes, ugh, man, I've been eating too many pancakes. And he sees you with the bow, and he goes, oh, okay. We're still being stealthy.
Yeah, there might be something down here with us.
Okay. You start making your way through the room. Go ahead and roll for me a perception check again.
I'm using the other dice because it rolled me in that one. 15. Straight 10. I think that's the first time I've rolled a straight 10 in quite a while.
There you go.
So that is 15.
Okay, and you see out of the corner of your eye, maybe Flibbit kind of notices it as well, is a hole in the ground.
A hole.
Mm-hmm. And I guess with that 15 too, you probably would also hear the faint clatter of something, the faint chittering of a noise, and it seems to be emanating from that hole.
Are there any... This seems like a cavern. Is it a room or a cavern? Because are there any boards or rocks that are
This is
big
more of
enough?
a room. This clearly looks like it was made by somebody.
Okay.
But I will say it's so decrepit and dilapidated. There does seem to be a clear walkway path through the dust.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll say, yeah, there's probably some stones in here loose that have chunked off the walls.
Do you think there's a large enough one that would be able to sit inside or on top of the hole?
No. As you are looking down the hole, you actually see that the hole is decently large. It's probably 4 or 5 feet across.
Wow.
And there's a ladder going down.
Okay. But there's chittering down there. And is there no other doorway to this room other than the one I came through?
Nope.
I thought there was no other doorway. Okay. Kea's going to climb down the ladder.
Okay.
Slowly.
Mm-hmm. So you start climbing down the ladder slowly. You go down 5 feet, you go down 10 feet. You look down, you see there's another 10 feet down, probably 30, 40 feet down now.
Wow.
And you can see that the ladder is going to keep going, but it does look like the room is about to open up into a larger room. probably with about a 10-foot ceiling and about a 20-foot room.
What are the chances of me hanging upside down on this ladder to look through the room before my feet
Sure.
go through?
So you're going to wrap your legs around the rung of the ladder.
Yep, and try to
Flip over backwards and look upside down. Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
Ooh.
And
24.
cool. And right about that time that perception check's done, can you go ahead and make for me an acrobatics check?
Okay, 12.
12. Okay. You flip upside down and you look and you scan into that room. You're using your dark vision and you see on the far wall, kind of the farther side of the ladder, you do see a little bit of light coming through what looks like a porthole window. And you see a valve on that wall being reflected by the light. With that 24, though, you also see, as your eyes start to adjust and the light from that room is starting to grow brighter, you see now into this room beneath you, and then you realize that there was a glimmer beneath your ladder, and you look down, and there are 6 little eyes, beady little eyes, looking up your direction, and a faint purpley glow. As suddenly, a thud, and the ladder that you were hanging upside down from gets rocked from a giant crash from this thing down below. Can you make a dexterity saving throw? Pretty please.
No, I don't want to make a dexterity saving throw. Wow, this dice is really good today. Another natural 20 for a 26.
Whoa, with a nat 20. All right, well, with a nat 20, acrobatics, dexterity, do you hold on? Do you purposefully jump backwards and do a cool backflip? What is Kea doing in this moment where whatever you say as far as acrobatics and dexterity is concerned, you can go ahead and do.
Okay.
As you notice this thing, this large, and now you've identified it as it crashed into you as another surge scarab.
But it's big.
But it is big. It is probably about bear-sized. Like, not grizzly, but probably like black bear-sized.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Probably barely enough to squeeze through a tunnel. And maybe it's grown down here. Who knows?
Does it look like it can climb?
It looks like it could probably figure it out.
I don't think Kea wants to stay up here trapped on this ladder.
Okay.
Whether it can climb or not. So
Yeah.
she is going to, as the ladder rocks, I think she's going to try and use the momentum to backflip into the room.
Okay. So you were, maybe 8 feet up in the air, and the thing finally makes this chittering noise again, and then charges in and lowers its shelled head and headbutts the ladder. And the ladder lunges backwards, and then as it resets its position, you use that launch to do a cool backflip over the top of the thing and land on the ground in this 20-foot room. So not super far away from it, but far enough away from it.
Yeah.
About that time, Flibbit comes down, peeks his head into the room, and he goes, "Oh, boy."
Yep.
And now I need you to roll initiative.
That is my third nat 20.
Dang.
How
I
have
even rolled really
so
good.
many nat 20s? I rolled a 23
Dang.
for
Okay.
initiative.
I got a 19 thinking it was good.
Wow. That is really good.
Yeah, it is good, especially for me. You go first. You did this backflip. You were prepared. You land on your feet. This thing facing the ladder kind of watched you, but is still kind of looking up at Flibbit, trying to figure out what to do.
Okay. Kea is going to shoot her bow.
Shoot her
I
bow.
guess.
Okay, so you peel back Scraper's Bane. You load an arrow.
Pew.
And you release. Go ahead and roll that attack.
Finally, a bad roll on this really good dice. A 14.
Oh, you think it's a bad
I mean,
roll.
I rolled a 4, so.
Well, believe it or not, that still hits.
Really?
It does, indeed.
I mean, I guess it's big.
It's big. It is exactly what you need to hit, but it hits.
Okay. Yay! I'm not doing anything fancy
Okay.
with the arrows or something, so 11 damage.
11 damage and nothing else going on for bonus actions.
Nope.
You do have 2 attacks, I believe, or is that...
I get attacks per action 2, so I guess I could swipe it with something, but...
So you could shoot twice, couldn't you?
Oh, I could.
Yeah. That's still an attack. You
Let's
don't,
go.
or you could swipe it if you wanted to for fun, but it's up to you. You
I think
wouldn't have
I'll-
to close the gap then.
I'll use my bow.
Okay, using your bow again, you pull back that arrow and fire.
For a 19
That hits.
and 9 damage.
9 damage. Wow, 20 damage out of the gate. Your second arrow collides and takes a chunk of its shell off, revealing more of that purpley, vapory
Goo.
glow that dissipates as it leaves its body. And the thing screeches in anger, and it turns and looks at you and lowers its shelled head. And as you get this thing, you're down lower. You see light coming through that porthole window, kind of over your shoulder, and shining on this thing. It's a big, segmented beetle thing that almost looks more like a scorpion, not with a tail like that necessarily, but with those segmented pieces of shell. And its claws and the way it moves does look a little bit more scorpion-esque, or even like a centipede kind of vibe.
I was originally thinking of like the normal little surge scarabs as being like most ladybug-like because they have wings.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
But
this one is
this one more like a roly-poly?
Yeah, more like a mix between a roly-poly, centipede, and a scorpion.
Okay.
And it lowers its head, and it has little horns on its head that peek out, and it lowers its head towards you, makes a loud screeching snarl, and is going to try to charge attack you.
So it's mixed between all of those insects with a Texas longhorn.
Sure. We'll call it the Texas bughorn. And it is going to move the 15 feet and try to do a charge attack on you.
Texas bughorn. I love that name.
A total of a 25 to hit.
25 to hit?
Yeah.
Wow.
I rolled a 19.
Yep,
You're lucky I didn't get a 20.
Yep, that hits.
So you get better, and so do the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate because my armor class is only 15.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You take... I'm sorry. You take 13 damage.
Ow.
And you need to make for me a strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
I don't like that either. 13?
13 damage.
Okay. Wow. Natural 1 for a 3.
So you feel that hit, the horns dig in, and you are knocked prone. Flibbit goes, ah! Ah! And he feels awful about it.
I also say ow
Yeah.
as I drop.
And he rushes over to you, and he is going to cast Cure Wounds on you.
Yay.
So he rushes over, he takes a tentacle, places it on your forehead, and he goes, I don't like this thing, Kea.
I don't either.
And he is going to cast a level 1 Cure Wounds on you. Actually, he'll do a level 2.
Ooh, thank you.
A level 2 Cure Wounds on you, which is...
I say thank you, Flibbit.
Hey, look at that. 14 health back.
Thank you.
As a wave
keep
of
me alive.
telekinetic healing awesomeness washes over you from his good vibes.
Yay.
And then he is going to...
His good vibes. Sound like a surfer.
And
Like
then
Carl.
he is
You sound
going
like
to
Carl.
stay put where he's at and round up on you. It is your turn. You are knocked prone, the surge scarab looking down over you with its horns.
I believe does it take half your movement or your whole
Half
turn?
your movement.
Okay. What's my
But
movement?
you're now in melee.
Okay. Kia's going to get up and is going to go swipey with her fork, knife, and spoon sword.
So pulling out the epic legendary weapons, you pull them from their sheath and they glow with energy. And you go for some attacks.
Non-natural 20 for the first one.
Nice. Go ahead and roll damage.
6 piercing damage.
6 piercing damage. Okay.
Second one,
Go ahead.
18.
18.
18 to hit plus 7
Oh,
is the number.
easily.
Yeah. 4.
Nicely done.
8 damage.
Oh, 8 damage.
Yeah.
I was like, 4 damage. Okay. So, movement, bonus action, anything. You're up in melee, but you have some tricks.
What's the farthest space in this room from this bug?
Well, you got knocked back into a wall, and it got up on your business. So the other end of the room now, where the ladder was, probably 20 feet away.
First time ever feeling this new power inside of her from having been in a wild magic storm, maybe, Kea is going to focus her Rummager senses and Misty Step.
Misty Step?
Yep.
Where'd you get Misty Step from?
Rise and Walker.
Oh, whoa. What level is that from? Are you level?
Second level.
Because you're level...
I'm level 5, but I don't have a lot of spells.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, why don't you describe... I like that vibe you're going for with the whole having experienced the portal, starting to sense portals and everything with Flibbit and with Gunther missing and the portals that disappeared from Map's Edge. Why don't you explain to me what your Misty Step looks like as you easily Misty Step 20 feet away?
I think focusing her Rummager senses draws upon that feeling of seeing those portals in Map's Edge and where Flibbit was, and kind of that same sparkly mist envelops her and pops out.
So a sparkly mist envelops Kea. Flibbit goes, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then with a whoosh and a little bit of a remnant of that leftover portal energy, you bamf across to the other side of the room. And Flibbit goes, "Whoa, Kea!"
I grin at Flibbit and say, "Experimentation."
That was cool. And you, I believe, still get your attacks because that is just a Misty Step.
Well,
as a bonus action.
No, I already did attacked. Remember? I did.
You're right. I'm thinking backwards. So you attacked. You slashed with both your weapons, and then with that extra dive into a far off, dare I say, magic of some kind? Because this was not
magic?
Past world tech related. It was portal related due to crazy magics you've been associated with. Funky.
Dare I say.
Yeah. and
Old
and
magic?
you whoosh away. Probably feels pretty weird having done something that was not past world tech related. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the Scarab's turn, and you disappeared. And it's not that smart of a creature, but Flibbit's there. And so he's going to look towards Flibbit, bare its little sharp, little beetly, gross teeth, and take a bite attack.
Pincers?
Mm-hmm.
Chompers?
A bite attack.
What are they called?
Oh, boy.
Ugh, I don't like that.
That is a 23 to hit Flibbit. Okay, can you roll for me for Flibbit and wisdom saving throw?
Don't die, Flibbit. I would rather you not. Wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom saving
What's
throw.
his plus?
His plus is a 3.
Okay, that's marginally better than mine. 17.
17. Ooh. So for a second, Flibbit, his eyes roll back in his head, and he's going, "Ah!" Then he comes back just a moment later, kind of shaking his head, and he goes, "I saw the first moment that my mother told me how to feed on emotions."
That's a very strange memory.
I know. And then, but he was able to shake off the paralysis and pass outness that had happened once upon a time.
The pass out bug strikes again.
He did take 11 damage. Flibbit's turn. He goes, all right. Nobody messes with Flibbit without Flibbit say so.
Why would you tell anybody to mess with you?
I don't know. It sounded better in my head. And then he's going to use his sacred stench.
The sacred stench.
Sacred stench.
That is totally what we should call it. The sacred stench of flumpiness.
So, dexterity saving throw from a dude. That's a big old failure.
Oh, yay!
Which is good. And we got ourselves some D8s from Flibbit's stench as he releases a stench cloud and does 12 damage.
Wow.
Nice job, Flibbit.
That's good.
We're coming back around to your turn. The Surge Scarab screeches and hollers and gets extra mad about the scenario as it is being surrounded and is trying to attack but failing.
Flibbit has a very appalling stench.
He does. And it is your turn. The things, some of it's more of its chitinous armor broken free and more of that mistral-y, magic-y goo is dissipating from its body.
Wait, is it goo or gas? That's kind of
basically
unclear.
It looks like a goo, but as soon as it gets exposed to the air, it dissipates into magic dust.
Okay. Kea is going to Wait, I have special arrows that I completely forgot about. Aha. They're not in my inventory, so can you please remind me which
Okay, so back in Athon, you purchased the elemental bundle of arrows that had fire, lightning, cold, force, smoke, poison, sonic, and sunlight. So you have used force.
He wants to see what the fire does to this goo.
Okay, so you
bug.
reach back into your holster. You glancing over your shoulder, you catch the one that has that red fire logo gem on it.
And then I pull it out, knock it on my bow, take aim, and...
As you take aim and pull back, as it reaches the full extent of the pullback, the tip of the arrow lights up with fire.
Gives the little purr of happiness. Because she...
A purr of happiness.
And is going to shoot.
Yep, so you do your normal thingy.
Non-natural 20.
A non-natural 20.
Because I rolled a 10.
Nice. So you go ahead and do your normal bow damage.
Which is 11 piercing damage.
11 piercing damage. And then go ahead and please roll for me 3d6.
3d6?
And as this arrow collides and an miniature little explosion of fire poofs onto his scaraby body.
Wow. Okay, we have 6, 5, and 5. That's 16.
16 damage. Oh boy, this
Plus-
thing's starting to look pretty hurt.
Plus 11 is 27.
And your fire arrow gone from your pack. We'll make a note of that. Okay, it is now the scarab's turn unless you want to do any... Oh wait, that was one attack. You have a whole nother attack. Go ahead and do... You still have other arrows or you have normal attacks? Whatever you are feeling.
Wait, so my bonus action. Probably gonna get a long rest, right? Yeah. She's going 4 force on this guy.
Okay.
And is going to cast first level Hail of Thorns.
A first level hail of thorns.
Because it is a bonus action.
As well. And the other one was not a spell, it was an item. So go ahead.
What other one?
Like your fire
Oh,
arrow.
yeah. She's going to shoot at this guy and first spraying it with a healthy helping of thorn grow. Normal bow damage is 24 to hit.
Easily hits.
Okay. And another 11 piercing damage.
Another 11 piercing damage.
And then
Boy, this thing is starting to look pretty hurt.
can you please make a dexterity saving throw?
Oh boy. 7 plus 1, so an 8.
Yep. Nope. Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome for you killing my monsters.
Well, it's supposed to happen, right?
No, I'm supposed to win.
You take 10 piercing damage.
How would you like to defeat this guy?
What sort of damage did I do?
That round?
No, like total. Because that round alone was 21 damage. Oh, right. That
So
attack was 21.
Yeah, plus 15 or 16 from the previous attack. So you did 37 damage
This round.
this round.
Wow.
So totally you got, Flibbit only attacked. Flibbit got like 15 of that. He had a health pool of 85.
Oh, wow.
So he got him.
Wow. Okay.
And he was at 83 on that one. So
Thank you.
go ahead and however you like.
I think the extra helping of thorn spray knocks it into the bow and shoots it, and as it shoots, the thorns start to like grow up around the arrow, and it sinks into his shell, and then a shockwave of thorns, as it's begun to be known, is sent out in a explodey radius. And wait.
I was just going to say.
Wait a minute.
Do you take damage from your own thing?
Oh, is Flibbit within 5 feet?
Of the thing? Yes, he was.
Oh no.
That's okay. You already did it, so you can't back
He
out.
also needs to make a dexterity save.
Okay, Flibbit. Let's see what you can do.
As Kea misjudged the distance and
he got
accidentally
a
hits Flibbit.
13.
Meter beat.
Really?
Yep.
So he is able to
Say, sorry!
flap out of the way with his tentacles and roll off to the side, barely dodging your hail of thorns. And the thing explodes into purple goo, that splatters all over you and you feel gross, and then it dissipates after a second. It's a very weird feeling.
Wait. I think Kea goes up to the door of this thing, of this porthole, and peers through.
Oh, yeah. So before you do that, I will say that you, like, as you approach too, you see to the right where the valve is that was on the wall. There are some serious scraped gouge marks in the wall.
Oh.
Almost like this thing was trying to scrape its way through the wall
Oh.
next to the valve.
What did it look like it was succeeding?
I mean, it's deep, but it wasn't succeeding yet.
Oh.
You approach that area and you look over into this porthole. Inside is a pretty large room. I would say it's probably about 50 by 50 by 50, like domed cavern.
Oh, wow.
So big.
That's big.
Area, right? And you see holding up a illuminated lantern is Zarr Bloodhoof. With him is that tiefling that was like his lieutenant.
Yeah.
And he's looking around. He has a look of concern, a look of grumpiness on his face. And you see he's looking around, and because there is a huge stash in the middle of what looks like pastoral tech items.
Yeah.
And Zarr's looking down at it, shining on it, and he starts kicking through it. And you quickly realize there's no feeling from it. These
There's
are
no
just
real
past
value.
world junk.
Yeah.
These are not tech items. And so he's looking around a little bit frustrated, and he shines the light around, and he's glancing all around as you look that direction and you see this valve.
I think Kea is going to quickly go over to the valve and twist it whichever direction it goes. If it goes both ways.
Yeah, it looks like you're opening it.
Okay. She twists it, and then runs back to the window and peers in.
So you twist it and twist it and twist it, and you run back, and then all of a sudden there's a ka-chunk, and then a ka-chunk, and then a ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. As you realize and you look, and there's commotion. Zarr's looking back. The tiefling woman is like running towards the stairwell in the side where you can see, and you look, you peek your head through and look to the side, and there's a door closing behind them, trapping them in this area. Up above, you see there was light coming through a little bit from like the sky.
Yeah.
The well closes shut. And Zarr's looking around, and then all of a sudden you hear this like, and you hear Zarr's voice. As you realize and you look down, there is a transmitter here, like a two-way speaker. And Zarr's going, "What the heck? He tricked us!" And he's looking around. He's like, No, I won't be trapped down here. You think you can cage me? And he's just like yelling, but you can hear this coming through.
Is it like a movable transmitter?
No, it's like on the wall. It's like
Okay.
one of those, like an intercom, I guess would be a better way to put it.
Okay.
And Flibbit leads over and he's like, "Oh, he's really trapped in there."
Yeah, he is. I honestly didn't know what to do. I thought he'd just like throw steam or water in there or something to mess with them. But I think Kea leans up really close to the intercom and says, "Hi again."
And he whips his head around towards the intercom. He sees you and his eyes get all low. And he drops the lantern and he charges your direction, head down, horns up. And he goes, "Ah!" And he just collides with the wall. You feel the shudder, but the window holds strong. And he stands up and he looks through the little porthole at you. And he goes, Oh, you've made a big mistake here today, kid.
You've also made big mistakes today.
Oh, I've seen far worse than this. This can't hold me. Nothing can hold Zarr Bloodhoof. And then were you about to say something?
Kea furrows her eyebrows and says, "If nothing can hold you, then why do you ride around in a big vehicle?"
That is the worst joke I've ever heard in my life. And Flibbit goes, "Nice." And he goes, "The old woman has no idea what's coming for her. Nothing she can do or you can stop me."
Whom?
And he just keeps talking.
I
He
don't
goes,
know.
"Your
Hello?
grandfather disappeared so long ago. I wonder where he ended up going through that portal." And he's just trying to taunt you now.
speaking to the intercom again and say, "He went north. He went to Scarlet Hill. I know that."
Are you sure?
Well,
Or do you think he came from that, maybe he went away to a different plane of existence where your flump buddy came from?
how can a portal point north if it's pointing to a different plane of existence?
And, he says, he looks down at you and he says, I've seen more things than you could possibly imagine. You have no idea what these storms are capable of.
I've heard stories.
Well, there's hearing stories, and then there's living it.
Well,
You made a mistake here today.
And then all of a sudden there's a noise behind him and he kind of peers over his shoulder and you hear
I also peer through the window. Like, what
he's
is
so
happening?
big, he's taking it up right now. You hear the tiefling in the backside like, Zarr, we got a problem. And Zarr looks back and he chuckles and he goes,
Well, run along, little rummager. We'll be meeting again.
and then he's going to punch the window really hard
Ah!
and it's going to crack. But then you hear the sound of metallic footsteps. And Zarr turns around and steps back into the room, and you see that Harwick's trap is fully sprung. And coming from a far side of the wall is a 8-foot tall scraper golem, and it has 2 like arm cannons. And it starts going ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. And Zarr dives behind something, and he finally pulls out the weapon that's been on his back this whole time, right? And it's this huge...
I've never seen him use
It's
it.
this huge hammer. He pulls it out, and as he twists the handles together, the 2 ends of the hammer glow, kind of like your spork knife, spoon sword thingy, fork knife.
Spork knife?
Yeah, and finally, he charges, and he rushes into battle, and the porthole window closes.
I think Kea just says, Harwick really thought of everything. And then,
Yeah, that was pretty intense. I didn't know what was going to happen.
yeah, that's really a genius to put an intercom in there. That's great. That's like,
He does seem like the type that maybe would want to taunt his trapped people.
yes, that sounds, yep. And then Kea climbs back up the ladder.
You climb back up the ladder. You make your way back out
I'm
into
running
town.
away.
Yep, you make your way back out into town. And as you emerge through the fireplace and come back out, there's cheering, there's excitement, and you come out into a totally changed Wander Wharf. They have taken the town back over, and Barrel's airship with Maud and the Mojingle and Cabot is up in the air, hovering near like low, and Barrel's like got a couple of the bloodhounds wrapped in a line and they're dangling from the air. And they're all like struggling to get free as they're wrapped up.
How high in the
Just
air?
like a few feet, so they can't
okay.
move.
Yeah.
And you look up into the basket of this airship, and the Mojingle looks down at you and he waves your way and he goes, Mojingle, fly!
I wave back and shout, "Yep, Mojingle's flying."
And Maud and Harwick come up towards you and they approach you, and Harwick's like, Did you do it?
I did it.
He's trapped down there?
Yep,
Wonderful.
I saw the thing.
Well, I don't know how long it'll hold him. Maybe it'll work the whole time.
He cracked the window.
All right. Well, we should act quick. And Maud looks at you and she's like, Dang, kid, we sure do have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
And then everybody goes up in a cheer, and Harwick leads you back to the town hall area. And that's where we're going to end this week's session.
Woo!
Everybody. All right. Good times.
Oh, me and Zarr are definitely going to taunt each other in the future.
Yeah, I think that's you
It's
have
an ongoing
taunted
rivalry.
him enough. At first I thought you would when you first came across him, you would try to be stealthy or sneaky, but you were just like, I exist, I am your enemy.
Yep.
And he was like, "Brah." So now that's the thing.
Hi again.
Yeah. Hi again. All right. Well, thank you all for listening to another episode. We will be back to learn a little bit more about what's happened to Maud. Learn a little bit more about Harwick and the town. And we'll see in the end if old Zarr is trapped or can he get out.
I will place my bets on him getting out for sure.
He's a big old minotaur.
He cracked a window with his fist.
Yep.
That is
And
impressive.
then he pulled out his sledgehammer.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Leave us a like, leave us a review, all that business.
Leaves a comment.
Yep. And we will see you next time on
No longer Mojingo Quest Adventure.
Adventure.